We'll just start tonight by calling this special meeting to order on May 12th, 2026 for the Harvey Community Swimming Pool Ballot Measure Public Information. So thank you guys all for coming. We're not going to be here too long unless you guys have lots of questions and comments, which I hope you do for us. So what we have here tonight is just an informational forum about the upcoming ballot measure that will be on the election ballot in June here for the 1% sales tax for the construction of the swimming pool. So what is being proposed here is a copy of the ballot language. So this is what will appear on the ballot, and I'll just kind of let you guys read it and I'll do a little synopsis at the end. But if a yes vote for this measure means that you agree with it, a no vote means that you reject the measure. So the election is Tuesday, June 9th, held at the City Armory. So some main things from this ballot language, what it says is, if it passes, there will be a 1% increase on the city sales tax. And that 1% sales tax will go towards the funding and building of the new swimming pool and parking area. So the current swimming pool that we have now was built in the early 1960s, so it's 60 plus years old. Over the last few years, last 10 years probably, we've been incurring a lot of maintenance costs, aging pipes, leaking pipes, the pool shell itself leaks, there's cracks in the concrete. The concrete decking is patched up like crazy and it's really uneven and bad. So because the maintenance costs are becoming so high, that at this point in time we are still able to keep the swimming pool open because we've still been having funding for it. But if things continue to go the way they are, that might be a conversation in the future about if it even is feasible to keep the current swimming pool open. So the community is in need of recreation for not just kids, but also for adults, families, young adults, old adults, everybody from 0 to 100. Also, people from the surrounding communities come to Harvey just to swim and for swimming lessons. You have people coming from Hertzfield, Esmond, Animals, Drake, Esmond, all over the place. Another thing about the swimming pool too is it is a major attraction for people that are moving to the area, knowing that they have a swimming pool, a hospital, a good school system, things like that helps attract people to the area. So how does the sales tax increase work? So 1% of all tax collected in Harvey will be given to the Park District for the swimming pool. Sales tax is only collected on businesses that are located within city limits of Harvey. So if the businesses are within city limits, that 1% sales tax increase will be added on to those businesses. If they're out of city limits, then you don't have to pay the city sales tax on that. Groceries from grocery stores are generally exempt from sales tax. And the sales tax, it spreads the cost beyond just Harvey residents. There's a lot of people that pass through town that do shopping, people coming from other towns that come to Harvey just to shop, as well as any online shopping that is done and the items are shipped here, that sales tax is collected and given back to the city of Harvey. And by increasing the sales tax, it relieves the burden of the property tax. So there'd be no increased property taxes that any residents will have to incur. It would be all sales tax. So kind of like a real life example of what that 1% increase means is if you were to buy a $25 item, it would cost you $27 with this sales tax increase. Currently at the rate of 7%, it would cost you $26.75. So by increasing it that 1%, it would cost you an extra 25 cents on a $25 purchase. So what do we get, the community of Harvey get from this increased sales tax? Modern pool facility with updated and efficient equipment. All the equipment, the heaters, actually the heater will stay because we just redid that not too long ago. We have a fairly new boiler, but all the pumps, the plumbing, all that will be new. So it'll be a lot more efficient, which with efficiency, you lower your maintenance costs. The pool is also going to have a zero entry feature to it. So there'll be, if you're wanting to get into the pool for young kids or elderly people, there'll be no stairs or ladders that you need to use to get into the pool. You can walk from 0 inches all the way down to the full depth of the swimming pool. So easy entrance and exit. There will be family-friendly features because there will be a splash pad involved, so there'll be fun features for the young kids, but there'll also be shaded canopies and picnic tables, things like that for the adults that are there with their children, so they can enjoy the pool as well. Another great thing about the swimming pool for the community is it just creates a space for community members to go in the summertime. Great spot for people to gather in the summer. If you were to go to the swimming pool this summer sometime, barring everything goes like it's supposed to, you will see that it's not just kids at the swimming pool. There are adults that come there by themselves. There are a lot of families that come there. The moms bring their kids and the moms actually stay and the dads stay. So it's not just kids going to the pool, it's the whole families that are. Kind of mentioned before, it's more attractive to prospective residents just because it's another thing for the kids and family to do within the community. By having a new swimming pool, it would attract visitors to the town, which would boost the local economy. Just for example, the people that come from Anamoose or Drake, well, while we're swimming here, let's stop at the hardware store and grab something for the project that we're doing this weekend, or let's go uptown and grab lunch, things like that. So it will bring people to the town, which will also help all the other businesses in town as well. So after the ballot measure, what happens if it passes? So if it passes, we'll move forward with the project. The measure would go into effect October of 2026, so this fall, and then disbursements from that sales tax, Park District would start receiving in January of 2027. Annually, there's been an average of $235,000 to $275,000 that would be generated off that 1% sales tax that the Park District would get. And then if it would pass, we would work with our engineering firm that we're working with to finalize the design, work with our local bank to finalize the financing, and then determine the construction date. There has been word that construction starting next summer or summer of 2028 or down in the future. And there has been no date set as far as a construction date just because there's so many variables yet as far as funding and design and things like that. So there's been no date set, but if this were to pass, we get one step closer to that. So if this measure doesn't pass, we would have to evaluate our options as far as what we want to do with the pool and the new project. We could include it on a measure in the election in November and try again. We will, no matter what, continue to apply for grants and private donations. And worst case scenario is year after year, if maintenance repair costs continue to increase, we would really have to look closely at closing the current swimming pool. And that's really all the information that we have as far as the ballot measure goes and what that 1% sales tax would do for the swimming pool and the community. But if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, I'd be very happy to answer them and hear them.
I have a question. Do you have any plans for swimming lanes? Just swimmers?
So,
Is it too small?
so currently there aren't. So we haven't finalized our design yet, but in our current design, we don't have any free lane swimming spaces. But that doesn't mean we can't put them in, and that doesn't necessarily mean that once we have a new pool, maybe we would have, a time for adults just to have free swimming in that. But it would still be like a nice long swimming area that you would be able to. But currently there is no set swimming lanes.
How is the pool funded now?
So right now the pool is funded through property taxes. So every year you guys usually get that yellow sheet of paper from the county, and it says the breakdown of where all your property taxes goes, and on there there's a line for the park board. So that's where it comes from.
If the pool had to close, any ideas what the cost would be, even just to, because you'd have to fill it, there would be costs involved if we don't have a pool, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's kind of the problem that that we've been running into the last 3 years is in order to find out that something's wrong, if there's a leaky pipe, we have to clean the pool out, fill it all the way up, turn the pumps on, and then that's usually when we find out if that's the only way we can find out if a pump is or if a pipe is leaking. So yeah, and then if a pipe is leaking, we have to drain it down a little ways so we can fix it and then fill it back up. So there are those costs too every year that we come across, but every year it happens. We know as the park board how important the swimming pool is to the community. So we don't make the decisions lightly as far as the repair bills that we have to do, but we know that we have to do them, and that's kind of why lately it's been manageable as far as we can spend $10,000 on maintenance this year that we're not expecting. But in years past, there's been years where it's been $30,000 just to get the swimming pool up and running, and year after year after year, that is not very feasible. Yeah.
Just want to say, when we moved here in 1990, that was one of the things that we were looking for, things for our kids to do, and we greatly appreciated that there was a pool here. And I'm sitting here going, why would we not do this? A $10 purchase, you pay 10 cents. I mean, and I think this is a well thought out project, and I thank you guys for putting your time into this.
Yeah, thank you. Another thing to note too is we've had questions as far as why are you doing a new swimming pool? Why can't you just renovate the current one that we have? So when we started this process, we wanted to do it right because we've heard of stories where other pools in the area have just tried to do it budget friendly, and it's come back to kind of bite them in the butt as far as the end project and the quality of the work. But we hired an engineering firm out of Minot to do it because we don't know anything about building pools, so they do. And we wanted a couple options. We wanted a new pool option, and we wanted renovating our current swimming pool option. So they came and looked, and they gave us we got to the point where a new swimming pool would cost the $3.7 million, what's in that estimate in that white handout. And a renovation on the current swimming pool would be about $1.5 million. And if they were to renovate it, that $1.5 million would only give us a lifespan of about 10 to 15 years. And then we would have to do it again. So there you get 20 years out of a pool for $3 million, or we could get a new pool that would last hopefully 50 to 60 more years for $3.7 million. So that's why we went the route that we did with the new swimming pool. It will go in the exact same spot that the current pool is. The layout will be different. The bathhouse that is there will remain there because in 2020, I think it was, we redid all the outside, tinned it all, got that new boiler in there, updated some things on the inside. So that will all stay. It will just be the pool itself that will get removed and replaced.
You talked about efficiencies, and maybe this question is too early, but have the people that you've been working with identified any efficiencies that might be good when we have a new pool? Like you explained that it's hard to find leaks. Is there new technology in the last 6 years, or anything that you could point out that makes it better? Or
like for the current swimming pool, or for this?
No,
okay.
new one, efficient over.
So one of the main one would be the chemicals, because right now the pool is, even if right now the pipes aren't leaking, we've got that fixed, but the pool shell itself is leaking. So to keep the pool filled, we have to continue to add water to it. So right there, we have water costs. And then since we're adding the water, we have to add chlorine, soda ash, all the other chemicals that go with it. Long ones.
We know.
Been there, done that.
So with this new system is, it will all be electronically put in, like Brandon Storbeck, he's our pool maintenance guy. He's at the swimming pool in the morning and at night. When it's really hot out, he has to add more chlorine and do all this business. And it's a lot of work for him. It's a lot of chemical costs. And he could literally sit on his couch on his phone and adjust it how it needs to be. So there'll be efficiencies that way. But then, and since you're not adding new water all the time, you're not going to have to, the boiler won't be having to heat up cold water all the time because the pool won't be leaking. So it's not like there's certain specific things that make it more efficient, but just those little things kind of add up.
One of the bigger things in this new design, all of our pipes right now are underground, so if there's a break, we have to go dig that up. And in the new design, from the boiler to the pool, it's almost like a little tunnel area where you can access that. So you eliminate the need of digging and finding right. You can kind of check it out and you can see where it's leaking. So repairs should be a lot more efficient also.
Yeah, that's a great point.
What was the dollar amount you said again to renovate the old pool?
It was like 1.5 million.
Okay.
And that was like so what they would do is it would be all new piping, and then the mechanical room would be all new pumps and everything in there. But then for the renovating the shell, they would just put a liner in. And that liner
Those need to be replaced too.
yeah, and that's the 10 to 15 years, and I would be surprised if it would even last that long.
No, it wouldn't.
Right, yeah.
So about 3 years ago, the park board started just kind of testing the waters a little bit, kind of just having a few little fundraisers here and there just to see how the community was going to support this project. And I think through the 3 years, we've fundraised about $221,000 is all. And when you look at this overall, as a $3.7 million project, even if we could cheapen that up to $3 million, not saying we can, but if we do, we'd have to fundraise for another 28 years under the way, unless we could find some private donor or something like that. So without the city sales tax, there's just no way, because in those 28 years, your costs are going to more than triple, and now you're going to be looking, instead of 3.7, you're going to be looking at $12 million.
Yeah, and I believe it was like 20 years ago, I think they had kind of looked into doing a new pool, and at that point it was like that 1.5 million, and they didn't do it. So 20 years later, we're more than double that. And then like Grant was saying, as far as the money that we've raised, that money doesn't include, that's just all money from fundraisers and donations that are coming in. That doesn't include the $250,000 pledge from the JDA. But then there's also the Garrison Diversion Grant. We got a $50,000 matching grant for that. We got the Twice Blessed. We got a $15,000 matching grant.
And the figure that I said, it's included. These grants are included in that too.
Yeah.
So we're clear on that. Yeah. So I mean, it's been a little bit of fundraising, and the support is there. I just don't know if the money is there without a sales tax increase.
Steve.
So if it passes, would you be looking at, you got decisions to make, but would you be looking at setting up a bond or just a loan to?
Right now, the way that when we've talked with the bank, it'd be more just a loan. Yeah. So even though we would be getting that, let's say that 235 to 275 a year, we would still need, we'd still be hoping for private donations and business donations and things like that to kind of cover that gap as far as, the 2.7 that I could bring in versus the 3.7 of the total cost of the project. So.
We also did talk to the Bank of North Dakota. They said they don't do that. They get it right to the local bank in our community. So that's we went to a couple banks, and they're kind of behind the project. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, and as far as if the project does go ahead, like the financing will be done locally. As far as the construction process goes, that would be bid out. It would go to a general contractor, and that general contractor would sub out the excavation, the plumbing, the concrete, all that stuff. And we can request that they use local people, but they ultimately have the final say in who they use. And at the same time, some of the local people don't do swimming pools every day, so they might not want to work on the project either. But that is a request that we can do, is to have as many local people involved as possible.
Go ahead.
Do you know, have a baseball figure of, I know we've had some pretty major breakdowns the last couple of years, how much we've spent on that? You don't want to know?
I would say it's probably, from the time things started really breaking about 5 years ago, I would say we're probably in the $50,000 to $70,000 range.
Yeah, it's just time.
And it's only gonna,
Oh,
We had
so
some,
yeah,
actually, we
yours.
had some actually free labor too that,
yeah,
they helped us
bad.
out too, that way, actually.
Yes.
You had the labor on that too, that's gonna bring up another probably 25% or 30%.
yeah, because it was just a matter of, a phone call to TJ and saying, we got a problem. And he'd show up a half hour later with a jackhammer and he'd be working there until 10 o'clock at night getting it fixed so we'd get the pool open the next couple of days, so.
Oh.
Tim?
I would just like to add that how I've looked at it, and Beth and I have talked, that tax is a dirty word sometimes to us. But in the swimming pool project, we're looking at it as we're gonna seek out ways to spend money in the city. And when our family comes, we're gonna probably try to go out versus go to another town, because we know that that is gonna stay in town and it's gonna build up an asset to our community. And I just throw that out to maybe when people talk about a tax, there's a positive way to look at the tax.
You're right, that's
Yeah.
a good way to see it.
Yeah. And I've just heard conversations, I don't even know if there's truth, but is there less people using the pool? Is that true, or?
Yes and no, as far as, 20 years, it's less than there was 20 years ago
Right,
because
there's
there's
less
less people in town.
Yeah.
But I would say proportionately, it's about the same.
Yeah. Well, in our experiences, we have grandchildren in Bismarck, and their pools are so cramped, they can't, forget about a swim lane. You can't even walk. So when they come here, they think this is like the cat's meow, and the poor thing's leaking, They're like, can we go? How long can we go,
And another thing on that too, with people coming out of town, is during swimming lessons in the summer, I would say 30% of the kids that come are grandkids of the people that currently live in town because they come here to send their kids to swimming lessons. Because they can get them in easy and they don't have to fight with 50 kids in their class at the YMCA, and that way they get to spend some time with their grandparents too for a week. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
But you, just one second, you mentioned the thing too, keeping that money in town, you get the tax dollars, and instead of going out of town, is that I've had people say to me, well, if the tax increases, they're not gonna spend their money in town because they don't want to pay that 1 extra percent, they'll go to somewhere else. And I went on the state website and I was looking, and if you look at Rugby, Carrington, Minot, Bismarck, even if we go up to 8%, we're still within 1/4 to 0.5% sales tax from those people. So it's not that big of a difference. Yeah.
Well, I just feel that this is a good way to, it's not just the people of Harvey paying for this, the people that are coming in.
Right.
And like you
Exactly.
said, they're spending money here.
Mhm.
And the swimming lessons is a huge program.
It is.
Some places don't even have that, even though they have a pool, so.
Another con, we all know everybody shops on Amazon, Harvey, that's gonna come right back to the city,
Yeah.
so.
Right.
Say that again?
If you buy something on Amazon, you're a resident of Harvey, that 1% will come back to Harvey or to the park district.
Yeah, and the online shopping. So even,
Right.
you go and buy your
I
toilet
don't-
paper and paper towels from Target because you get free shipping on $50, that gets sent here, we get that sales tax.
Right.
You had a comment that you were on.
I was going to say, how about rounding up some of the young people that were swimmers when that was built? Bring them in and get their opinion on it and see, because I know my kids, oh my gosh, they'd have a trail of people and that was just an afternoon. So I just
Yeah.
think it's so important.
And we've had those people come forward, like Becky Keller and Dr. Nias. They said they were some of the first lifeguards when the pool opened, and how awesome it was that there was a pool in town that everyone could come to,
Yes.
and all the good times that they had. So we have had a lot of people comment on that.
It's good.
I'm in I'm embarrassed to say that my children rode their bicycle and then went across the highway there and no one ever got hurt. I'm grateful. And I really encourage the park board, if there's a way for us to close off that area, people can go up and drive on the shortest highway and then turn left at Rugby. What in the world? I mean, I can't even believe I can't believe I didn't even think of it, but
Yeah.
you know, they would be hollering, I'm not going to swimming lessons. I go, keep rolling.
Yeah,
And they cross the highway.
And in the summertime, I probably went by your guys' house probably about 5,000 times.
Yeah.
Going to the swimming pool 4 times a day.
Yeah. So, you know, just, to me, that's just, as I'm looking now, thinking, you know, isn't there an easy way to just say, you know, just go up and take a right, then take a left. You gotta go, you know? This is just a town, you know? I know it's a
Right.
highway.
Yeah. And one thing, you know, one good thing about having the swimming pool is where it's at is you can see it from when you're passing by. You know, and it's like, oh, there's a swimming pool. And even if they don't come swimming, but they might come in and stop and have a picnic lunch at the shelter or use the campground, and they use the campground because there's a swimming pool there. So.
How deep is the deepest part going?
So right now it's 12 feet, but it will be to 10 feet. It will go from 0 to 3 from the 0 entry, then it'll go from 3 down to 10. Yeah. I don't have a picture, no, I should have. Oh, we forgot the board with the picture on it.
I'm bad.
I do have some pictures.
Oh, it's on the back of that.
His cards.
Yeah, the cards. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so this isn't the final design, this is just the design to get things started, so. There are basketball hoops on there, a diving board, like a rock climbing wall. So there are some fun things that are a little different that hopefully draw people to the pool. So.
And I think everybody should have the opportunity to have swimming lessons because eventually it may save a life because they know how to swim.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's hard to get swimming lessons when the town you grow up in doesn't have a swimming pool. And that's why we see kids from Drake and Annos coming to Harvey just for swimming lessons. So it'd be sad if there wasn't one here. The kids
Yes,
don't.
it would.
Especially because the river is, you never know if you can swim in or not.
Yeah.
Chances are usually not.
You just,
That's another.
that's a
Yeah.
chance.
That could be.
I don't want to open that can
Not
of
gonna
worms.
fix the river, may as well do a pool. It's true.
We've got an excellent parking campground on that north side of the east end of the river. And that would be that's an asset to draw people to the swimming pool as well, visitors, campers.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Well, I appreciate all you guys coming tonight, asking questions, comments, so we can. The best
Wonderful.
voters
Good
and
job.
informed voters, so.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. There's nothing else.
I got one thing for you people, whoever lives in the city of Harvey, we put that little flyers into the buyer's guide this last Saturday. Did people get them in their buyer's guide? You've got them in the
Yes,
buyer's guide?
yes.
The inserts? Okay, I'm just curious.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
That's something I cut up and saved this piece on my
Okay, I'm just kind of
bulletin
curious,
board
you
and
guys
stuff.
all got them, so, okay.
That's good. Help.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you guys for coming.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks for participation, great.
Appreciate your support.
Spread the word, spread the word.
Yeah, it's less than a month away.
So what, there's an opening date for the pool, you're saying? Did you say that?
We don't know what the date that we're gonna open the pool right now. It all depends on, the pool right now, it's all pumped out and empty, they just gotta, has to be cleaned. And
With the water on, or hopefully those pipes.
then we're gonna turn the pumps on and cross our fingers and say a prayer.
A few years.
And then we'll see if we can pump it. Yeah, now look at Steve's back. We don't want that.
I was always wondering when I drove by your guys' place, and I'm like, I see the doors open, it's a pool.
Michael was there a lot.
Yeah.
No one we needed.